What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another video, and today we're going to be talking about the Winnipeg Jets and how good they've been this season and kind of determine if, they could be a Stanley Cup, contender or not. I personally feel like they are, and I'll go over why. And, I see some reasons why I think a lot of people would say the Jets aren't Stanley Cup contenders, but we're going to go over that in this video. The Jets currently sit in a three-way tie atop of the Central, currently in first because they've played less games in Colorado and Dallas. 91 points, they have 43, 19, and 5 record on the year. They have been rolling for the majority of the year, had a little bit of a slump there in January, but you know what, they're back now. They look good. Their scoring has kind of come to life. They're coming off of a 6-0 win and a 5-0 win respectively, and they just look like they're rolling right now. The addition of Tyler Toffoli has really injected some life into this group. He's been a great pickup. 3 goals and an assist in his first 3 games as a Jet. He's killing it, man. I've talked about it before, but I think it's massively important that the Jets go out and win this division, because playing Colorado or Dallas in the first round would be a tough go. I think the Jets could do it. I think they could beat one of those teams, no problem, but then having to go back and then probably face, whatever team they didn't play in the first round, in the second round, like if Winnipeg played Colorado and then they went on and then in the second round they had to play Dallas, I feel like that would be really tough, and it would be 2 very long series to start the playoffs, and I don't know if Winnipeg comes out of that. It's just going to be really tough because we've seen how good the Dallas Stars are this season. Very good team. They're probably the team I'm most scared about in the Central. The Colorado Avalanche, I'm a little less scared of, but they're still a very good team. They're rolling right now. But Nathan McKinnon, Cale Makar, Casey Middlestat, lots of great players on that team. Mikko Rantanen, gets overlooked a lot. So I'm just kind of wary about Winnipeg's ability to knock out both of those teams. In round 1 and round 2, I think it would be much easier playing a team like LA, who yes does have pretty good stars on their team, like Anze Kopitar, Quentin Byfield, and so on and so forth, but they just don't have that X factor, that game changer, and they don't have a lot of depth. So if they do win the division, playing against a team like LA in the first round would be ideal, and then you go on and play the winner of Colorado and Dallas, and that might be seriously the toughest out of the entire playoffs, to be totally honest. I think both those teams are super, super strong, and the Central as a whole is just super tight right now, very competitive, and it's going to come down to the wire there. Even with how good Winnipeg's record's been this season, though, one thing that scares me about them is, since the calendar has flipped, they have struggled beating playoff teams. Here's a look at all of the games that they've played since the calendar is flipped to 2024, and most of those losses, come to playoff teams, so it's a little bit concerning for Winnipeg as they are trying to, come forward here, win a Stanley Cup. You can't do that without playing playoff teams. You're going to have to be beating the best of the best night in and night out, and I believe Winnipeg can do that, but since the calendar is flipped, they really have not shown that they can. And the Jets have a big game coming up here against the New York Rangers. I think it's going to be a big measuring stick game, and I hope they rise to the challenge. Seems like the flu bug is starting to make its way out of the room a little bit, so I hope that helps out a little bit, because that 5-0 loss to Vancouver on a back-to-back, second half of a back-to-back, and then, with all the flu stuff, just did not work out for Winnipeg. They had one of their worst games of the season. It was embarrassing. Since then, they've looked much better, but they need to look sharper, and they need to play better and rise to the competition's level of playoff teams coming forward here, because they are not going to cut it playing how they've played against playoff teams as of late. Here's the remaining games on the schedule for Winnipeg. They've got the New York Rangers, like I had said, and then they've got some lesser opponents here in the New Jersey Devils. They do have the Islanders, who are, right on the bubble, the Capitals, who the Jets embarrassed, just about a week ago, the Oilers, the Knights, very good teams, the Kings are a very good team, Nashville's been giving Winnipeg some problems, Minnesota's always a tough one, Dallas and Colorado, that could be, division deciding games right there, and then, they end the year off with the Vancouver Canucks, who embarrassed them about a week ago as well. So it's a very mixed bag here, some very beatable teams and some teams that are definitely in the playoffs and in the hunt for a Stanley Cup. So we'll have to see what Winnipeg is able to do here. If you want my honest opinion, they're going to have to go on a run here and win that division if they want a chance at winning a Stanley Cup. I think winning the Central is almost, necessary. I don't think it's completely necessary, but Winnipeg would have to go on a pretty special run in the playoffs, and I don't know. I think they could do it, but, it would be much, much, much tougher without winning the Central. One thing that I think Winnipeg has on a lot of the other teams, though, in the NHL is their quality of their depth. I mean, Kyle Connor, Mark Scheifele, and Alex Iafallo, don't necessarily love that line, but, for right now, it is the first line. Iafallo's in there as a placeholder for Gabe Vilardi, who is hopefully back very soon. I'm going to touch on him just right at the end of the video there, but that's second line of Ehlers, Monahan, and Toffoli have been on fire. Ever since Toffoli's come by, he's been a monster. Ehlers and him have instant chemistry. Sean Monahan and Toffoli seem to have a lot as well. So that line's been a lot of fun, putting up big points at big times here. And then you got Niederreiter, Lowry, and Appleton. They've been solid all season. Barron, Gustafsson, and Vlad Namestnikov right now is the fourth line. Cole Perfetti has been in and out of the lineup, scratched, as have a few players in this lineup, but that's just the way it's going to be going down to the final bit here. On defense, it freaks me out a little bit because the Jets have been, changing in and out their bottom pairing defense. It's been Logan Stanley and Nate Schmidt switching out with Dylan Sandberg and Colin Miller. Colin Miller and Dylan Sandberg, definitely the number 5, number 6 defensemen usually on this team. They were very solid, and I'd have to imagine they'd be the guys going in playoff time. Right now, Stanley and Schmidt have been rotating in just because, we're near the end of the year. Want to give the guys some time to breathe and, rest up for the playoffs, but I would really love if we could be a little bit hungrier and play Sandberg and Miller, who are much better options, much better puck movers, against teams like New York and stuff like that, because we need to win this division. The Jets need to win this division very badly, so I'm hoping that they do that going forward here. But Dylan and Pionk have probably been the most worrying pairing, to be totally honest, down the stretch. They've been a little bit chaotic. Morrissey and DeMello usually very tight, very, calm, and Josh Morrissey has the ability to take over games and, will the Jets to win sometimes. So not worried really about that first pairing. The second pairing at times can be chaotic. If they could just, work that puck out a little bit more, I think that would go a long way for them. And then the bottom pairings have been fine, but I'd much rather see Sandberg and Miller get the go against teams like New York. And then here's the Winnipeg Jets X Factor. In goal here, Connor Hellebuyck, coming at a 31-15-3 record, a goals against average of .231, save percentage of 0.922, and 4 shutouts on the year. He has been fantastic really all year long, having a runaway Vezina year. He will be the Vezina Trophy winner, I believe. I don't see how anyone else could be beating him there. And then Laurent Brossoit backing him up has been elite, 12-4-2 with a 1.99 goals against average, save percentage of 0.927, and 2 shutouts. Laurent Brossoit's been the man this year in the backup role. So the lineups as they are right now, they're fine, they're good, and I think Winnipeg is a really solid team. But I really believe that if Gabe Vilardi is added back into that role of the first line winger, this team gets a lot scarier, and I think they need him to be healthy for the playoffs. They've got about a month now, exactly a month actually, until the regular season comes to an end, so he's got some time to heal up. But Gabe Vilardi has an enlarged spleen right now, and I'm no doctor or anything like that, but basically what it sounds like is he's got 2 to 3 weeks to heal it naturally, and if it isn't healed naturally, then it has to be removed. And if it has to be removed, I believe he would be done for the season. So that is pretty scary. And, the thought of losing, your top right winger at this point in the season going into the playoffs is very scary, because Winnipeg, could definitely use the boost there. They're a good team, but they're a great team with Gabe Vilardi, and I really hope that he's okay. I really hope he's ready for the playoffs. I hope that, it's a very scary injury. I just hope that he's okay, but man, it would be real nice if it just healed properly and he was able to come in, because losing Vilardi for the year would be a big blow to not only, this year, but, the playoff chances as well. Overall, I think that Winnipeg is a cup contender, and they can be an elite team if Gabe Vilardi comes back. They've got Connor Hellebuyck as the X-Factor goaltender in goal. They've got Josh Morrissey as the number 1, Norris caliber defenseman. They've got 2 very solid defense pairings after that, and then they've got some real good players on offense like Mark Scheifele, Kyle Connor, Nick Ehlers, Tyler Toffoli, Sean Monahan, Gabe Vilardi, and a ton of quality depth. They've got like a first line and then 3 second lines, and it's very fun to see. I hope that they're able to, go forward here and win a Stanley Cup, and I believe they can. And I think that, Gabe Vilardi can definitely push them over the edge there if he's able to come back and stay healthy. I think this team could be special. I think this team could win the Central Division, and I think that they could go in a long run. So I'm very interested to see how the season's going to wrap up. We've got exactly a month left in the regular season. Time to lock in here, and I hope the Jets are able to figure it out and, go on a push forward here. Because, man, I can't even imagine what a Stanley Cup would be like in this city. This city would shut down. It'd be so much fun. But that's all I've got today, guys. Thanks so much for watching. As always, leave a comment down below what you guys thought about the video. Leave your thoughts down below. Whatever you want to do, just let me know. But yeah, that's all I've got today, guys. Leave a like and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. See you guys in the next one. Go Jets, go. Bye-bye.